lest it be forgot, I did want to talk about some of the events connected with the show in 2004. A little thing called As You Like It by Mr. William Shakespeare. And we did the whole thing, every last word of it. We had music composed for the play by Jeremiah McLean, who is a very talented local keyboardist and accordionist and a musician. We had a wall of electronics, glowing cathode ray screens and tubes in the old world of the evil Duke. And we had two very unusual leads for the show. The first day of the two leads were David Casagrande and Hannah Chodos, who play the lovers. And on the first day of auditions, there was an odd young fella showed up and introduced himself, said he was visiting for a couple of weeks with his parents. Peachum happened to have checked on the internet to see if there was anything Shakespeare related going on, because he had just at that period decided that what he wanted to do was delve into Shakespeare. He didn't have any particular stage experience at all, and came across the website. Paul was talking about the website, and at that time I was doing the website. It was one of the first things I started doing for Parish Players. I ran it for about 5 years. And he said, oh great, there's auditions, a little place called Parish Players. He showed up here, introduced himself and said, I'm not here to audition, but what I'd really like to know is whether or not I could just help out and shadow you, I was directing it, for the duration of the play. I just wanted to do soup to nuts, how you would go about staging the play like As You Like It. I said, well, sure, I guess. And I decided right then and there that I wouldn't tell him. I'd never myself tried to do anything like that before. So I wasn't altogether certain he was going to learn a whole lot. I didn't have, at the end of that day, a good Orlando candidate, who's the lead character. But this fella Casagrande, he had the looks. He was very physically fit, big shouldered guy, very trim. He looked like a movie star kind of guy. And he was smart and he was quick. And I'd asked him a couple times, do you want to audition? No, I'm here to just figure out how you do this. We had another day of auditions that didn't go very well. He was there again, and I kind of said, just read. And he did. And at the end of the day, I said, I'd like you to play Orlando. And no, he said, I've never done this before. I said, well, you're the best I've got right now. And he did it, and was awful. He really had no sense of being in a performance space, but he got better really fast. It was astonishing. He wasn't, in the end, an outstanding Orlando. There were problems with problems as a performer, but his learning curve was astonishing. He went from 0 to being pretty darn good, and always brought a great deal of energy and vitality to it. The other character was Rosalind, and if you don't have a Rosalind, you don't have that show. And I'd seen her in a small part in a show here 6 months or so before. Hannah was a student at Dartmouth, a drama student. And I'd been in touch with her, and she couldn't make it to auditions. She was away and wasn't planning to be back for that fall semester. We were going to do this through the late summer and the fall for a November show. But I kind of just got obsessive with her, and I was emailing her and calling her, and long story short, talked her into being our Rosalind. And so David, who had never acted before, and Hannah, who was all about a serious profession in acting did it awkward and real awkward like it was supposed to be, and then more and more interesting. And when the show finished, the two of them spent the next several months together in real life. They hit it off. The other story about As You Like It that's worth telling involved our shepherd and wrestler. We had some people playing multiple roles. And a guy named Bill Temple, hadn't been in a play for decades, saw the advertisement, showed up in the audition, and he's a rugby player. And he's got long, he looks kind of like a Viking, just slightly past his prime on a bad day, feeling mean. And that's his kind of resting state. He got in the show, brought a lot to it, and loved to fight physically as much as our Orlando, who was David Casagrande, the mystery man. And the problem in the fight scene, the wrestling scene that we did, was not to make it realistic looking, but to keep them from actually pummeling each other, which was the instinct that they both had. They wanted to fight for real. And it was just extraordinary to work with both of them. When it was over, David Casagrande disappeared again. I could never find a forwarding address, couldn't locate the parents in Peacham, couldn't find any trace of him, nor has anybody else involved with that show. He walked in out of nowhere, no connection to the show, to the area, did the thing, and disappeared. Anyways, that was As You Like It, and which is one of the shows for which, and I wish we had them for all of everything that Parish Players does. There is, and theoretically it's still in the library upstairs, a darn good DVD video of that play that was shot for us by Nora Jacobson, who was a local filmmaker, and brilliantly edited by David Mill.
That was one of the really good plays to be an audience at.
What's it?
Which is what it's all about.
Millbanks.
Because we could sit and there were children on cushions, and they were just modern and ancient. It was a wonderful production.
No, and then, but it also, sit down for a second.
No,
because Duncan here.
Okay.
This is another thing. You remember, Duncan is my best friend, except I hate him.
Yeah.
We've
It's
fought.
true, we're dear friends.
Fought more than
each
anybody.
other.
And somehow one night, he had a show that was running, and
Rehearsal.
there was a calendar, we were both in rehearsals, and there was a calendar mix-up,
He threatened
and all
to
my
call the
people
police.
were here, and then and the Duncan's people were showing up at the same time.
Yeah.
And I said, well,
They were both good shows. Yours was better.
Well, I don't know about that, but
No, it
all
was
I know
really good.
is you told us to scram, and I told you
Did
no.
he tell you about his role in that play? I'm going to leave now.
Yeah, As You Like
I
It.
brought this sign-in sheet for Dan. He didn't sign it. I got to go get
Did you do
salmon.
this?
Yeah, I did this.
Oh.
I bullshitted and made up stuff.
Well, I would
Like
never, I
most
would
of us.
never do that.
No, but you're good. He's a good interviewee.
All right.
Okay, have him sign that though.
Okay, I'll have him
It's
sign it.
hard to find this guy. The other guy who was describing disappeared, who was in the fight scene.
Yeah.
Like we all back up and disappear.
All right. The mystery man. He was supposedly worth $300 million, which meant his disappearance was a shame for Parish Players in lots of different respects.
Maybe this video can go viral and we'll find him again.
David, if you're out there, we need you. We want you back. And the only reason I said that you suck, that you're terrible as an actor, was so that I could highlight how fast you learned and how adaptable you were. Honest to God, because you were great. What I love about the Parish Players is, everything. That it's here, that it endures, that it's been creating opportunities for, bozos like me for 50 years now to stretch that drama muscle a little bit. And it really launched what remains a sustained interest in improvisational theater. It's just been a great source of satisfaction, and it's one of those communities that are so hard to find once we're grown up and we're not in school and we don't have kids anymore. And we don't that the community that I found myself in through Parish Players matters to me a great deal. We don't get many chances like that, and this is I think of what it did for me was it brought me into a community of marvelous people at a time in my life when I didn't think that those opportunities to form communities really existed anymore.